Excuse me, that ring doesn't belong to you. Take it off. How? I said take it off. Take it off.
The diamond ring slipped onto Maya's finger like it was made for her. Because it was. She'd ordered it 6 weeks ago, saved for months before that, and now, standing in the most exclusive jewelry boutique in Gangnam, she finally held her dream in the palm of her hand. The platinum band caught the light, the flawless 2-carat solitaire throwing rainbows across her dark skin. "It's perfect," Maya whispered, turning her hand to watch the diamond sparkle. Mrs. Choi, the store manager, stood 3 feet away with her arms crossed, lips pressed into a thin line. She'd been cold since Maya walked in, but now her eyes narrowed to slits. Something shifted in the air, something dangerous that Maya felt in her gut. If you're enjoying this story so far, hit that subscribe button, like this post, and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest uploads. Trust me, you won't want to miss what happens next. And drop a comment telling us where you're watching from. Maya had lived in Seoul for 2 years. She'd learned to recognize that look, that particular expression that said she didn't belong. As a Black American woman in South Korea, she'd faced her share of microaggressions. But she'd also found love, community, and a life she'd built with her own 2 hands. This ring was supposed to celebrate that. A gift to herself for landing her biggest client, for making it work in a country that didn't always make space for her. "Excuse me," Mrs. Choi's voice cut through Maya's thoughts, sharp as glass. "That ring, take it off." Maya looked up, confused. "I'm sorry, what? That ring doesn't belong to you." Mrs. Choi stepped closer, and Maya could smell her expensive perfume mixed with something bitter. "That's another client's order, a very important client." The words hit Maya like a slap. "What are you talking about? I ordered this 6 weeks ago. I have the confirmation email, the receipt, everything." Mrs. Choi's laugh was cruel. "Those could be fake. Anyone can doctor documents these days." "Are you serious right now?" Maya's voice rose despite her efforts to stay calm. Other customers were starting to stare. An elderly woman in a fur coat whispered to her companion. A young couple stopped browsing to watch. "I have proof. Let me show you my phone." "I don't need to see anything." Mrs. Choi raised her hand dismissively. "Security, we have a situation here." Maya's heart pounded. This couldn't be happening. Not here, not now. No, not over something she'd legitimately purchased. "You're making a mistake, a serious mistake." "The only mistake," Mrs. Choi said, her voice dripping with disdain, "is you thinking you could walk into an establishment like this and steal from us." 2 security guards appeared, large men in dark suits with expressions carved from stone. They flanked Maya, not touching her yet, but close enough to trap her. She felt the walls closing in, felt the eyes of every customer burning into her skin. "I am not a thief," Maya said, her voice shaking now, but not with fear. With rage, pure, righteous rage. "This is racial profiling. This is discrimination." Mrs. Choi scoffed, performing for her audience. "Don't bring that into this. This has nothing to do with your background. This is about theft, plain and simple." "Then check your records." Maya pulled out her phone with trembling hands. "Check the order number. Check the custom specifications, the engraving inside the band. Check anything." "I don't need to check anything," Mrs. Choi said coldly. "I know my inventory. That ring was commissioned by someone else. Someone who actually belongs here." The words hung in the air like poison. Someone who actually belongs here. Maya felt something crack inside her chest. She'd heard variations of this before, from taxi drivers who wouldn't pick her up, from restaurant hostesses who claimed to be fully booked when empty tables sat behind them, from landlords who suddenly remembered the apartment was already rented. But this public humiliation, this accusation of criminality? "I want to speak to the owner," Maya demanded. Mrs. Choi smiled, and it was the smile of a predator. "The owner trusts my judgment completely. Now, you can either remove that ring peacefully, or we can involve the police. And trust me, the police won't be sympathetic. They take theft very seriously here. You could be deported for this." The threat landed like a physical blow. Maya had built a life here. Her apartment, her job, her work visa, everything she'd fought for could disappear because of this woman's prejudice and lies. Call the police then, Maya said, lifting her chin, because I'm not giving up what's rightfully mine. Mrs. Choi's smile faded. She hadn't expected resistance. Fine, if that's how you want to play this. She turned to one of the security guards. Call them. The guard reached for his radio, and Maya's mind raced. Should she call her lawyer? Her boss? Who could help her right now? Her hand moved toward her purse, and both security guards tensed. Don't move! One of them barked in Korean. I'm getting my phone, Maya replied in the same language, and she saw surprise flicker across their faces. They hadn't expected her to understand. How much had they said about her, thinking she was ignorant? Before anyone could move, the boutique's front doors opened. The sound was ordinary, just the soft chime that announced every customer. But the reaction it triggered was anything but. Every person in the store froze. The whispered conversations died mid-sentence. Even Mrs. Choi's triumphant expression faltered. Maya turned to see who could command such immediate, visceral fear. 3 men entered. 2 wore dark suits that screamed professional security, their eyes constantly scanning, and hands positioned near concealed weapons. But it was the man between them who stole every breath from the room. Kang Min-jun. Maya's heart stopped for an entirely different reason now. He was beautiful in the way that dangerous things are beautiful. Tall and elegant in a charcoal suit that probably cost more than most people's monthly salary. His dark hair was styled perfectly, his features sharp and aristocratic. But it was his eyes that held the real power. Dark and intelligent, and currently scanning the boutique with the cold assessment of a predator evaluating prey. Those eyes found Maya, and everything about him changed. The ice melted. The hardness softened. He moved toward her with purpose, and the crowd parted like he was Moses, and they were the Red Sea. No one dared block his path. No one even seemed to breathe too loudly. Maya, yeah, he said softly when he reached her, and his voice carried the warm familiarity of someone who'd whispered her name in darkness, who knew the sound of her laughter and the taste of her lips. Are you all right? Before she could answer, before she could even process that he was here, now, in front of everyone, he cupped her face in both hands. His thumbs brushed across her cheekbones, gentle and reverent, and then he kissed her. The boutique erupted in gasps and whispered exclamations. Somewhere behind her, Maya heard Mrs. Choi make a choking sound. But all of that faded because Min-jun was kissing her like she was oxygen, and he'd been drowning, like she was the only real thing in a world of illusions. When he finally pulled back, his forehead rested against hers for just a moment. I'm here now, he murmured in English. Just for her. You're safe. Then, he turned to face the room, and the warmth vanished so completely, it was like watching winter descend in seconds. His arms stayed around Maya's waist, protective and possessive, as he surveyed the frozen tableau before them. What? He said in Korean, his voice soft and infinitely more terrifying than if he'd shouted, Is happening here? Mrs. Choi's face had gone from red to white in the span of seconds. She bowed, deep and desperate. Mr. Kang, what an unexpected honor. We had no idea you were... I asked a question. Min-jun's interruption was surgical. What is happening here? Why is my girlfriend surrounded by security guards? Why does she look like she's been crying? Maya hadn't even realized tears had escaped until he mentioned it. Angry tears, frustrated tears, tears of humiliation she'd been holding back. Mrs. Choi stammered, her earlier confidence evaporating. There's been a misunderstanding, sir. You see, this woman has a name, Min-jun said quietly. Use it. Yes, of course. Maya C. was attempting to... That is, we believed she was trying to take a ring that belonged to another client. Attempting to take? Min-jun repeated the words like they tasted foul. You mean stealing? You accused her of theft. It was a mistake, clearly. We had no idea she was associated with... Associated with me? Min-jun's laugh was devoid of humor. So if she wasn't associated with me, it would be acceptable to humiliate her? To call her a thief in front of your entire store? To threaten her with deportation? Mrs. Choi's mouth opened and closed uselessly. The ring she's wearing, Minjun continued, his voice dropping even lower, which somehow made it more menacing. Describe it for me. It's a platinum band. 2-carat solitaire diamond. Custom cut with an engraving inside. Mrs. Choi's voice trailed off as realization dawned. Read the engraving, Minjun commanded. With shaking hands, Mrs. Choi approached Maya. May I? She asked, and Maya wordlessly removed the ring, dropping it into the manager's palm, like it burned to touch. Mrs. Choi held it up to the light, squinting at the inside of the band. Her face somehow went even paler. It says, To Maya, my light, MJ. Minjun pulled out his phone with his free hand, the other still holding Maya close. A few taps, and he turned the screen toward Mrs. Choi. My order confirmation. Placed 6 weeks ago. Now I'm custom specifications matching exactly what you just described. Would you like to see the email chain with your own sales associate? Or perhaps the bank transfer showing payment in full? If you're loving this story, smash that like button and let us know in the comments what you think should happen to Mrs. Choi. Should she be fired? Should she face legal consequences? Drop your thoughts below. Mrs. Choi looked like she might faint. Mr. Kang, I deeply apologize. If you had known she was important to me, you would have treated her with respect. Minjun's words were scalpels, cutting with precision. What about the hundreds of other customers who walk through your doors, who aren't connected to powerful men? And how do you treat them when you make assumptions based on the color of their skin? The boutique was silent enough to hear a pin drop. Every customer, every employee stood frozen, witnessing the public dismantling of a woman who'd thought herself untouchable minutes ago. I have been a loyal customer of this establishment for 5 years, Minjun continued. My family has spent millions here. But I wonder now how many other people you've treated this way. How many you've accused, humiliated, driven out because they didn't fit your narrow definition of who belongs in your store. Sir, please, it won't happen again. You're right, it won't. Minjun's tone was final. Because I'll be having a conversation with the owner about your employment here, and about implementing proper anti-discrimination training for your entire staff. He turned to the security guards, who were trying to make themselves invisible. You should be ashamed. Both of you. This woman broke no laws, caused no problems, and yet you surrounded her like a criminal. Apologize. Now. The two men bowed deeply toward Maya, mumbling apologies in Korean. She accepted them with a slight nod, too emotionally exhausted to feel much triumph. Minjun gently took the ring from Mrs. Choi's trembling hand and turned to Maya. He knelt on one knee, and fresh gasps rippled through the watching crowd. This ring, he said, speaking in English now, his voice carrying to every corner of the silent boutique, was made for you. Only you. Because you are brilliant and strong, and you deserve beautiful things. Because when I saw the design, I thought of how the diamond catches light the same way your smile lights up my entire world. He slipped it back onto her finger where it belonged. It was always yours, Maya. From the moment I commissioned it, it belonged to you. Maya's tears flowed freely now, but they were different tears. Minjun stood and pulled her into his arms, and she let herself lean into his strength. Let's go, he murmured into her hair. You don't need to stay here another second. As they walked toward the exit, Minjun paused at the door. He didn't turn around, but his voice carried clearly. Treat everyone who walks through these doors with respect and dignity. You never know who they are or who loves them, or what they've overcome to be standing in your store. And even if they're nobody special, even if they have no connections and no power, they still deserve to be treated like human beings. The door closed behind them with a soft chime. Outside, the Seoul afternoon was bright and busy, people rushing past on their way to wherever people rush to. Maya and Minjun stood on the sidewalk, his security team maintaining a discreet distance, and suddenly, the weight of everything crashed over her. Hey, hey! Minjun turned her to face him, his hands gentle on her shoulders. Breathe, Jagiya. Just breathe. I could have handled it, Maya said, but her voice cracked. I should have been able to handle it myself. You were handling it, Minjun insisted. You stood your ground. You didn't back down. You were incredible. But Maya, you shouldn't have to fight these battles alone. So not when you have me. Your reputation, Maya whispered. Everyone saw. Everyone knows now. Minjun smiled, really smiled, and it transformed his entire face. Good, let them know. I'm tired of hiding how I feel about you. Tired of secret dinners and private meetings. I want the whole city to know that you're mine and I'm yours. Maya looked down at the ring on her finger, the symbol of self-love that had somehow become something more. I bought this for myself, to celebrate my independence, to remind me that I don't need anyone else to validate my worth. And you don't, Minjun agreed. You never did. You're complete all on your own. But maybe, just maybe, we can be complete together too. Two whole people choosing each other. Not because we need to, but because we want to. Maya laughed through her tears. You're dangerously romantic for a man with your reputation. Only with you, he promised. Only ever with you. He flagged down his car, a sleek black sedan that pulled up immediately. As they settled into the back seat, Maya felt the adrenaline finally starting to fade, leaving exhaustion in its wake. What happens now? She asked. Minjun laced his fingers through hers. Now. Now I take you home. I order your favorite food. We watch terrible movies, and you let me hold you until you feel better. And tomorrow, my lawyers contact the boutique's owner about implementing real change, about making sure what happened to you never happens to anyone else. Just like that. Just like that. He kissed her knuckles. I can't change the whole world, Maya, but I can damn well try to change my corner of it. 3 days later, Maya scrolled through her phone and found the news article. Luxury Gangnam Boutique implements mandatory anti-discrimination training following incident. Mrs. Choi had been let go. The entire staff was undergoing sensitivity training. The owner had issued a public apology. It wasn't everything. It didn't erase what happened or the years of similar incidents Maya had endured. But it was something. A start. Her phone buzzed with a message from Minjun. Dinner tonight? I made reservations at that new restaurant you wanted to try. The one with the rooftop view? Maya smiled, turning her hand to watch her ring catch the light. She'd bought it as a symbol of independence, of self-love, of standing on her own. And it still meant all those things. But now it meant something more too. It meant she was loved. Fiercely, publicly, more unapologetically loved by a man who used his power not to control her, but to protect her, who saw her strength and celebrated it, who witnessed her pain and fought beside her. She typed back, "It's a date. I love you." The response was immediate. "I love you too, my light." Maya looked at her reflection in her apartment window, at the successful woman she'd become, at the ring on her finger that sparkled like a promise. She'd survived another battle, in a war she hadn't chosen but refused to surrender, and this time, she hadn't stood alone. Sometimes, she thought, independence didn't mean doing everything by yourself. Sometimes it meant being strong enough to let someone stand beside you, to let love in without losing yourself, to be both complete and connected. She grabbed her purse and headed for the door. Minjun was waiting, and they had a dinner reservation to keep. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new battles, new moments where she'd have to prove she belonged. But tonight, she would celebrate. Celebrate herself. Celebrate love. Celebrate the diamond ring that meant so much more than the sum of its carats. Because Maya Thomas belonged wherever she damn well wanted to be. And anyone who thought otherwise would have to answer to her first, and the man who loved her second. If this story touched your heart, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss our powerful stories about love, justice, and overcoming adversity. Share this video with someone who needs to hear that they belong exactly as they are. And comment below telling us your own story of standing strong in the face of discrimination. Your voice matters. Your story matters. You matter. The end.